Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
Now, this almost turned into a financial advice podcast this evening, but we did that before we hit record and play, so I feel that we're done with that part of the show already.
Absolutely. Though it is funny. I feel like if someone ever went back and went back and listened, they would laugh at us, Tim. It's so on brand if you ever think it'd be a Tim running a finance podcast. With that being said, I will let Tim start with his little openings, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so this is like my music news, music question, music topical type thing section of the show. Okay. Now, recently, we've had the Grammy Awards. Now, I've gone on record many times saying that the artists that win Grammys these days, it's not for them. It's really for Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin and artists of the caliber of Aretha Franklin are the people who win Grammys, not DJ somebody featuring somebody else, etc., etc.
Duplo or something.
Yeah. So I thought I'd ask Joy some questions about these Grammy winners. So I have a list of Grammy winners here who I've never heard of. And I'm interested to know whether Joy has heard of them either, because occasionally, like, NPR will publish a top 100 albums of the year, and we go through it, and Joy has never heard of these artists, and I've never heard of them.
Okay.
But, Joy is a little bit younger than me. She's a little bit more switched on with the kids than me. I'm a little bit more old man shouting at clouds when it comes to this stuff. And I thought, well,
get off my lawn.
Yeah. So let's go through this list. I'm going to miss out the ones who I've heard of. I probably have never heard of any of these actual songs, but artists that I've heard of. So I'm going to skip them. Okay. So the first one, Record of the Year. Now, I've heard of the name Kendrick Lamar. I don't know who he or she is, but I've heard of that name. But there's a name beside it with SZA. SZA? What's that?
SZA. That's her name, SZA. You literally, Tim is so old school, but you got it right. It's SZA. I have no idea what music she's at, but he was featuring SZA. That's her name. It's literally SZA.
And have you heard of SZA?
Yes. But could I tell you a song she sings? No, I do know she's not American. She's from England, from your stomping grounds, but that's about the extent of anything I know about her.
Okay, all right. Next one.
I don't know if that helps anybody.
Next one, Best New Artist. That's Olivia Dean. Have you ever heard of Olivia Dean?
No.
Me neither.
It sounds like someone I went to high school with, Olivia Dean. I don't know.
I remember there was a Hazel Dean who had an 80s pop career, but I have no idea who Olivia Dean is. And if you don't know who Olivia Dean is, that makes me feel a little bit better.
I just feel older with every minute. Continue.
Okay. The best pop solo performance was Messy by Lola Young. Do you know who Lola Young is?
What? I feel like you're not even speaking. Did you say Messy featuring Lola Young?
No. The name of the song is Messy, and the artist in question is Lola Young. Do you know who Lola Young is?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. I don't feel quite so bad now. We've got two already.
Oh, God, I'm so old. All right, Tim, what's next?
Okay. Song of the Year, Songwriters Award, Wildflower, Billie Eilish O'Connell. Now, I've heard of Billie Eilish.
Yes.
Did Billie Eilish get married, change her name to Billie Eilish O'Connell?
I think that's something to do with, she writes a lot of the music with her brother. And there's like some type of producing thing happening that I don't know, actually, Tim. I was
going to ask the question, Phineas O'Connell. I'd never heard of that name.
Phineas is her brother. So yes, I was right. Phineas is her brother. I don't think Billie Eilish is her real name. Like that's like a stage name, Tim. Phineas is her brother, and they co-write a lot of their music together. So it's something to do with her brother. So kind of like I know the basics. That's all I know.
Okay, well, I stand corrected on that one. Okay, best dance electronic album. That is called You Sexua by FKA Twigs. Does that mean anything to you?
No. No. I have no reference. I don't even know that you're speaking English. Like what?
This is a list from the Associated Press. I didn't find this on some Reddit post or something. This is it.
I have no clue what. Like, it's kind of like, so there's this funny joke with me and Molly, which Molly was on our podcast and we've talked about. My best friend's name is Molly. There was one night we tried to watch the Teen Choice Awards like a few years back, Tim. And I literally looked at my screen, hunched like an old person without their glasses and went, is that the Kardashians? And that's when I knew I've got old. All right, anyway, continue. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Best pop duo group performance, Defying Gravity. That's Ariana Grande, and there's a name Cynthia Enrivo.
Okay, so those are the people from Wicked, the musical. I do know that. So Wicked, the musical, this is their, that I know because Joy likes musical theater, but yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
that I do know.
All right, here we go. Best rock album, Never Enough by Turnstile.
Oh, no. No. What? What? Turnstile? Like you're going through like the thing you have to put your little card in to get through the metro?
Yeah, like you do in the underground or something.
Yeah, no, Tim, I got nothing.
Okay. Next one. Best R&B album. Obviously, I'm going to know this one. Mutt by Leon Thomas.
Leon Thomas is somebody I graduated high school with. Like, what are you talking about? What is happening? Am I 1,000 years old now, Tim?
Yeah, and then just one more. You have Best Latin Pop Album, Cancionera by Natalia Lafourcade.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah,
don't know.
I have no idea. I just feel that the Grammy people are barking up the wrong tree with this stuff. Well, where's your George Michael? Where's your Aretha Franklin?
You know what's interesting about this year's Grammys, though? Do you know who didn't win anything? And I hate to say this.
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Did she have a new album out that would qualify?
The Poet Society thing, yeah. I don't know, Tim. It was her first year not winning in like, I don't even know how many years. I don't know, Tim. I don't know. I have no idea.
That was my old man shouting at clouds section. I'm very pleased, Joy.
That I only knew one.
You didn't know a good chunk of those two.
It was like, but what's weird is usually, even if I don't know them, they'll sound like vaguely familiar because I'll see them and like a headline or a TikTok. No, nothing, Tim. I literally have nothing, no reference point. I've reached that point in my age now. Thank you for telling me this.
And as I was telling someone the other day, I can speak of great music from the 40s through the late 90s. Anything past 2000, who knows what went on.
There was an entire podcast episode where we talked about music from the 1800s, Tim.
There we are.
So, there's that. All right. Well, did you have anything else you wanted to open with? Was that your little bit?
That's me. I'm just shouting at clouds like an old man. It's done.
All right. So we had what is known as the American football thing yesterday, aka Super Bowl, aka things that I don't care about. I didn't care who was playing in the game. Couldn't tell you what they were doing with the balls and the sports and something. I don't know. That was happening. But there was music. So I had to watch. We actually pushed our recording off by a day because I wrote to him and said, can I watch the sports balls? And he was like, yeah, it's fun. So anyway, so I could report on it. We had an intro, which was Green Day did a little American Idiot situation. We're not going to talk about that. It was good, though. It was good. I mean, it was just classic Green Day. Take that from what you want. The Charlie Puth is like a very young artist. Well, apparently he's not anymore. I guess he's old because it's been around for like 15 years. But in my mind, that's still new. Tim probably doesn't even recognize the name.
Charlie who?
Puth. His name is Puth. Is Puth.
No idea.
What's interesting about him is I don't actually really care that much for his music, but he's notoriously known for having like perfect pitch. Like it sounds dumb, but like like when he's like on the keyboard and stuff, like he's like been tested like on game show host joy, no, like late night host, and like he has like perfect pitch. Anyway, doesn't matter. Don't really care that much about him, but his opening was really good. He did like the Star Spangled Banner and all that stuff. It was very good. Football did the footballs and they threw the football and they like dance and sing. I don't know what they do, Tim. Are they dancing and singing? Whatever.
I have no idea.
People were throwing it through the goal and people were kicking and everybody's going, yay, team, something. But we had the halftime show. Now, I will say something. This was a very diverse halftime show, if you didn't know. Bad Bunny, who's from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is part of America. Just going to say that now. I could tell you nothing about Bad Bunny. Don't listen to his music, don't know much about him. But let me tell you right now, Tim, I was dancing, I was singing, I was having time of my life. I loved it. It was really good. Lady Gaga appeared. My mother did the classic mother thing and wrote me and said, "Who's that?" when Lady Gaga appeared. I said, "Mom, that's Lady Gaga." And she was like, "She should really keep her hair like that. It's great." That's all she said. It was really good. I had fun. I danced. I will say, and this is all I'm going to say, music is universal. Don't care what language you're singing in. You just feel the vibes, Tim. Like, have you ever done the Macarena before? I'm just saying. Have you done the Macarena?
Hey, Macarena.
What if I told you that wasn't in English? So anyway, I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was a good show. I don't have anything else to say about it besides I liked it. Me and Charlie were dancing. Now, there is a funny bit, though. When before it came, I've talked about this ad nauseum. Bless Charlie's heart. He likes music, he enjoys music, but he don't got rhythm. He don't got no rhythm. There's no rhythm there. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3. It don't register. I tried so hard, Tim. He was trying his best. The hips and the brain, they don't match. It's just not there. Don't put Charlie on the drums. He's never gonna get it. That is the extent of my Super Bowl coverage. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I danced. I liked it.
Well, I will tell you, I didn't watch it because I was playing a blues jam in Radford. But my understanding is it was rap, and my brain cannot accept that. And I have no agenda. It's just not my kind of music.
Well, to be fair, I guess it's rap, but it was kind of Spanish. So I really don't know what he was saying. I just kind of danced. Like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. I just kind of felt the vibes and they felt good. I don't know. I actually don't have any clue what any of it was about, really. But I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to a Tiny Desk concert from Gloria Estefan that was mostly in Spanish. And I also listened to one that was Sheena E., who used to play drums with Prince. But that was majority in Spanish. And both of those were really good. But my understanding is this Bunny character is a rapper. And I can't.
He's not really a singer.
I cannot listen to that. I said, I have no prejudice or agenda. That is just not my kind of music, and I have no interest in seeing that.
But the point of that is you don't care what... The thing about it is I've always been taught, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, music's universal. There's actually psychology behind it. No matter what language, you can feel the vibes, right, Tim? You can just know what they're singing about. You know what they're saying. And that's what I took from this. I had fun. And that's all I got to tell everybody. It wasn't my favorite Super Bowl. Wasn't my least favorite Super Bowl. No, I also didn't really pay that much attention to anything else.
Thing is, when you have Katy Perry, you have Prince, you have Michael Jackson, you have The Who, you have those sort of Super Bowl style performances, you just can't beat them, regardless of who they are.
And Michael Jackson's was really good. But I will say, it was a 15-minute concert that like a lot of people got bent out of shape about. I'm like, is it really going to affect you tomorrow?
No, like really. I said, I have zero agenda. It's just not my kind of music.
No, I enjoyed it, though. So that's my official Super Bowl analysis. It was fun. I danced. Charlie doesn't understand how to find a rhythm. Every song he sang was just 4 count. There wasn't nothing special. Do you know what I mean, Tim? It was just a basic Spanish 4 count. I was like, are we hearing the same? Sometimes with Charlie, I look at him like, are we hearing the same? Like, are you hearing what I'm hearing? No, they're not. We weren't, Tim. We weren't. Anyway. And maybe it's the fact that the brain doesn't connect to the hips. Anyway, all right. With that being said, before this episode, and I've been very excited about this episode, I made Tim do an official deep dive into this episode last week, so he knows what's coming.
Yep.
I sent him this at 7 p.m. while he was trying to fold his clothes and being like, Joy, leave me alone. We recorded 30 minutes. And I said, I need you to look at this. I was scrolling through the YouTubes as one does, and there was a beat. It was just a basic drum beat. And it said, depending on what you heard, we could be friends. I embarrassed myself with this one because as much as I hold Charles and laugh at his music knowledge, I can't believe I heard this, Tim. I heard Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Charlie heard Mickey by Tony Basil, which is what they were getting at. Now, a few people did say they kind of heard, like, I Gotta Keep Them Separated from The Offspring, but it wasn't quite the same. And then a few people also said, We're Not Going to Take It, which I totally thought was off base. So I sent it to Tim. I said, I'm embarrassed. What did you hear? Tim, what did you hear?
It is the Taylor Swift song. It is not Tony Basil's Mickey.
Thank the Lord.
Because Tony Basil's Mickey, the pattern is constant. This has got this is like a beat and then there's a break and then it starts again.
You instantly heard. Okay, good. I thought I was going crazy because when everybody was like, if you didn't hear Tony Basil, what's wrong with you? Taylor. And I'm not even the big Taylor's, but it is absolutely whoever did. Was it rage bait? Did I just get rage baited? Is that what they just did to me, Tim?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Tim. I really was embarrassed because I was like, no offense to people who like Taylor Swift, but I've been pretty open that I'm not actively listening to Taylor Swift as a human. I'm just not. It's not to insult her or her music. If you love her, whatever. But I don't listen to her. But when I heard it, I was like, how are you guys hearing Tony? Like, I hear it a little bit, Tim. I do hear the rhythm, but I was like, that wasn't Mickey. It wasn't. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We will do an official analysis. I'll make Tim put this up on his Facebook and ask other people what we'll get a vote. But I was embarrassed because they're basically what it was is if you hear Taylor, you're blah, 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 which I find dumb because, like, who cares, Tim? It's music. Let people like what they want. But I was a little embarrassed, just a little bit.
There we go.
Well, I'm glad Tim has confirmed what I thought. All right. Now, with this being said, for those who are like, we've talked about nothing about the episode and it's been going for a while, we will keep this. This is a short soundtrack to a movie, so I think we can, like, put it all in and we can skip some of the B-side if we need to. Tim already knows what's coming. This is an episode I can't actually believe I haven't already done because if you know me, you know I love this movie. I love this soundtrack. It's Footloose.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, he says it like he didn't already know.
Well, what a massive surprise, Joy, that you sent me research and everything.
Well, and also that, like, and it's funny because I want everybody to put this in their brain now. Tim jokes about Joy likes music from CBS. This soundtrack's from CBS.
Yeah, I think it's fair. You could.
Instantly right now. And maybe this is where it comes from. Now, the funny part about Footloose is I didn't just come by this, like, organically. It's my mother's favorite movie. Mixed with maybe Saturday Night Fever. We've talked about that. Like, my mother loves a good music soundtrack. Like, that's just who I am. Of course, I grew up listening to Grease too. I wouldn't say that's our favorite, but it is known in my household. My mom's favorite movie of all time is probably Grease, Saturday Night Fever, and then maybe Urban Cowboy. Okay. Like, all of those kind of rank in my household. So I grew up watching this movie all the time, hearing this soundtrack all the time. So there's some nostalgia to it as well, mixed with the fact that it is a really good soundtrack. And if you're into music and you like musicals and things of that nature, and also I performed, I will get into this later, but in show choir, we did a whole Footloose soundtrack thing too. And I think everybody who's ever been in a show choir has probably done Grease, Footloose. You know what I mean, Tim? It's pretty classic. So, first thing I asked Tim is, one, have you ever watched Footloose? And you guys know what the answer was. What was the answer, Tim?
No, I have never seen Footloose.
Wow, shocker to everybody listening to this podcast right now. Now, I said, do you own the soundtrack? What was the answer, Tim?
Yes, I do. I do have a copy of the soundtrack on compact disc that I got from a thrift shop.
Who would have thunk it? And then so I was like, okay. I did send him one scene I made him watch. And he was like, well, where can I watch this? I sent him to YouTube. I said, if you really want to watch the movie, here's where you have to. And I said, to be honest with you, you don't need to watch the movie. You could get the basics. It's an old town that they So, for those who don't know, the premise of Footloose takes place in Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont, Texas is this little old town where at one point there was a bad car accident and they were listening to music when they were driving over the bridge and they banned dancing and music, really, just music in general. And the whole premise of the movie is a guy from Chicago, Illinois moves into Beaumont. His name is Ray McCormick. He loves dancing. He loves music. He loves it all. And he's like exactly how me or Tim would be if we moved to a town where you're not even allowed to listen to your music loud, right? Tim, we're like, what are you guys talking about? So he fights it. He goes to city council. He gets it approved. So the premise is they have a prom, a senior prom. And they all want to be able to have their senior prom, but because dancing and music's banned, they can't have it. So they go to city council, They don't actually get it approved to do it in Beaumont. They do it a city over because the person that Rim McCormick is working for is actually in like a county over, even though it's within whatever. That's kind of the premise. But and what it is a religious town. And the girl that Rim McCormick is dancing. Well, they were dancing, but dating Ariel. Her dad is the preacher, and the reason that dancing got banned was because her brother had a bad car accident, and he was the one who died. And so it's all just like this movie of him being like, first of all, what year is it? Where am I at? What is wrong with you people? Because like banning music, right? But then and so that's kind of the premise. You don't really need to know. But they get to the point where they get to have their prom. They have to have it a thing over. And, it's just a fight against establishment. There's one scene where they're burning books. Like, it's very political in a way. I'm not going to get into that, but there's some very political nuances in it that if you've never watched, it's worth it. Now, the premise that you guys care about and the purpose that we care about is the music. The music in the movie is so good. So for those who don't know, it came out in 1984. It was very like the MTV early dominance age. The soundtracks were based around like kind of cultural events. And of course, it went #1 in the Billboard charts and just stayed there. The interesting thing was the actual movie was written in 1979. And I guess it got put to the back burner. And it was known, there's a name for it. I can't think of it. But basically, like they didn't think it was going to do well. And so there was like a whole thing. And it circumvented everything they thought it was going to be. So we're going to start by, I forced Tim to watch one segment of this, and I want Tim to tell you what he thought of it.
Okay, so I watched the trailer, which I hadn't seen before, which sort of alludes to the plot that you've just mentioned here.
Yes.
And then I watched this one segment. Now, are those two people in there? Are they brothers or are they friends?
They're just friends. So Ray McCormick moved into town. He made friends with the guy that he's teaching to dance. Ren can dance. Ren loves music. He's from outside. He's teaching this guy how to dance because his girlfriend. So Ren and Ariel and this guy and his girlfriend all went to a bar and got in how to dance. It's like a whole thing. So now this is a scene of him teaching him how to dance. Okay.
So I watched this clip. And at the end of it, I thought it was a great love story, and the pair of them were going to run off together into the sunset.
Looks like one.
Because that's what it looks like. That they start off and they're dancing and they're jostling and they're hugging each other.
Reality, Tim.
Yeah, and I just assumed that the pair of them would run off into the sunset and have a beautiful relationship together. That's what it looked like to me.
So what's so funny about this is I rewatched this before we started recording because I wanted to like refresh my brain on it, and when he's teaching him to like snap and clap to find the beat, kind of was like joking about Charlie earlier. That was a prelude, guys. It was a prelude to me trying to teach Charlie to dance and everything. There's a scene where they're sitting in Ren's Volkswagen Beat, and like Tim's seen it. He's like, showing 1, 2, like he's literally snapping to the song, trying to teach him how to find the rhythm. I watched it back 3 times. And it's in perfect sync with the actual song. Like, I know that obviously the song is dubbed over, right, Tim? Mm-hmm. But I will give it to Kevin Bacon. Like, if you watch it, like, he's literally, the beat is perfect. I don't know if that was, like, I'm sure they did it on purpose.
Yeah, because someone on set would have either had a BPM counter or they would have played the track.
I know, but I wasn't sure. Because in not every movie, though, they have that level of detail. Mm-hmm. So I watched it back 3 different times. And when he's snapping and then when he's clapping, it's perfect in sync. It was. So, what song was in that, Tim? I know. But what song did you hear in the background of the scene? Do you remember?
Was it actually the Footloose song?
No, it was Let's Hear It for the Boy,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
Denice Williams. Unless I'm crazy. It is Let's Hear It for the Boy. All right. So, first of all, great song. Amazing song. So, I'm assuming you've heard this song before. Yes, Tim?
Yes, Let's Hear It for the Boy. I remember in 1984 when this song came out and it was on the
Which
radio.
is when the movie came out, yep.
Yeah, I was 10 years old. I remember it being played on Capital Radio. Now, only recently, probably when I got the soundtrack album from a thrift shop for 50 cents, I found out it was a soundtrack song from the film Footloose. I knew it as a standalone song from my youth, and I remember it. I have a very definite memory of this song when I lived in Hounslow years ago. It being on the radio and having a bath on a Sunday night, and it was on the they used to do a countdown, like a top 10, top 20 countdown on Capitol, like 6, 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. I remember it playing on that, and I was taking a bath at the time. I have a very clear memory of that.
So the person in this so Chris Penn played Willard, which is the guy he's teaching to dance. Now, if you go look up Chris Penn when he passed away, it does not look even remotely like Willard. I'm going to tell you right now, Tim, your mind will be blown. There's a whole thing there. He's passed away in like 2006. I think there was some health things happening. I don't know. He does not look like the Willard you see in Footloose. I digress. With that being said, when he's teaching him to dance, my favorite part of this scene, and the reason I wanted to show it to Tim was, one, it is very like, he's not wrong. It does seem very almost like two lovers. But in the scene, so for those who don't know, Kevin Bacon's character, Ray McCormick, has to go stay with his aunt or something. I don't know who it was. And his family, because he got in trouble or something, whatever. And they sent him, and I think his mom passed away. His mom passed away, actually. He doesn't have any family relatives. He got shipped back. Well, the two little girls who were in the scene when they're teaching him to dance, that is Ray McCormick's cousins that lives with the mother. And there's a scene where earlier in the thing, they were dancing and singing, and they had like a little karaoke machine type thing. And the song was Let's Hear It for the Boy. And so when they're teaching, at one point in that little scene, he lets his 6-year-old nieces try to teach Willard how to dance with the karaoke machine. And that was the reference. And it's such a cute little like segue. Now, I will say controversially, and everybody will come for me, there is a new version of Footloose that came out in the late 2000s. Actually liked it. I didn't think it was as bad as everybody thought. And I thought that scene was really cute because they kept it. And it's a modern day karaoke machine, but they kept it. So it was very cute. But you can't dance when they let the 6-year-old try to teach you how to find your rhythm, Tim. That was kind of the joke. Now, with that being said, one of my favorite movies. The other thing that's very interesting, and this is such a weird, nuanced thing. In the movie, Tim, at one point in time, Ray McCormick is like fighting, challenging the bullies, right, in this area. One of them's dating the girl that he likes, and so on and so forth. There is a literal scene where they're like going after each other, and they're driving on tractors and playing chicken. It's a whole thing. In the new version, for some reason, they changed it to buses. I don't know. I don't know why.
Okay.
Very random. It sounds so dumb. Anyway. All right. So with that being said, we're going to start with the opening track that everybody knows, aka Footloose from Kenny Loggins.
Yeah. So I can give you some facts about this song.
Oh, okay.
So this is a song that Kenny Loggins had been playing on tour long before the song was actually recorded. I think it was in the making before the film, in fact.
Yes, because it was written in 1979.
Yeah, so he'd been out there gigging that song, Footloose. The bass player on this track is Nathan East, and Nathan East was a session bass player, and still continues to be a session bass player, and he played with Kenny Loggins at the beginning of his career. He subsequently went and played with Phil Collins, Eric Clapton, you name it. Nathan East has played on it. He played bass on Daft Punk's Random Access Memories as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely amazing, amazing musician. But when they recorded Footloose, because he knew the track so well, because they had gigged it for so long before they actually committed it to tape, they went in the studio. The bass part is one take, the very first take. He played it. He said, yeah, that's fine, done.
I mean, I love that. So those who don't know, I mean, I don't know anybody out here who's never heard Footloose, but if you've ever heard Footloose, it's literally like peak 80s pop, Tim, but it's also like one thing that I love about this, and maybe this is a very niche thing, when that line where it's like, been working so hard, I'm punching my card 8 hours for what? Oh, tell me what I got. I got this feeling life just holding me down. I don't know who, and so it was written by, obviously it's written by Kenny Loggins, but then it was also Den Pitchford was the other writer in this. Mm-hmm. I don't know much about him, but he was the other writer. Whoever wrote that lyric wrote the best lyric, might be one of the best lyrics of my entire life, Tim, because this is going to sound very nuanced and weird, but when I'm just like feeling like life is holding me down, or like I just need to like listen to music and like get out of my head at work or whatever, I think of that lyric. It is a very iconic, perfect lyric.
Yeah, it is such a good song. And also, it was famously performed at the Philadelphia part of Live Aid.
Huh. It was. You're right. I've never thought about that. So you said about it. I've heard that before. Huh. It really is, though, like when you're thinking of a movie about, literally society holding these kids down and they can't even have a dance. Mm-hmm. Couldn't find a better song to write it. Couldn't find a better song to write it. Couldn't find a better song to explain. And the tone is just such a good song. I mean, it's not like Kenny Loggins hasn't wrote other good songs for other good movies that we've talked about here. He's not, I still remember that, and then we've got the whole him and Loggins and Messina thing too. So, all right. Well, with that being said, perfect intro to the Footloose movie. Now, the next one, I'm not doing this in any particular order, so don't come for me, internet. But this is probably my favorite song on the entire soundtrack. Mm-hmm. It's Dancing in the Sheets.
I mean, Shalimar. I mean, I remember Shalimar. The singer Jodie Watley was the singer one of the singers from Shalimar. And again, I remember when this came out because it did. It even came out as a single.
And it's just like, because it came out in 1983, so it came out before the movie. That I caught you smiling, I know I've seen you here before. And that little, I don't know, that. So for those who don't know what happens in this scene, which Tim will be one of them because he's never watched the full movie, there's a scene where they're all at like a little, I don't know, restaurant, but it was like a drive-in restaurant. And they had a little radio. And they're all kind of like, you can tell like the students are kind of like, they're feeling the vibes. It's a Friday. Everybody's having fun. And then she kind of turns it on for a minute, Ariel, the main character. And then everybody just starts dancing. And like, nobody wants to make, but they just start bobbing because it's got that sound to it. And like, there's like different clips of different people like throughout the thing. Like the guy who's on the arcade machine and he just hitting the beat. And then the girl over here just hitting the beat. Whoever staged this, Tim, take out the music aside, the staging was so perfect for that moment. And they all start dancing. And then out of nowhere is Ariel's, she had lied to her parents about where she was going. So her dad shows up, the pastor, and he was like, oh, your mom was worried you might not have money to hang out with your friends. And he walks in on them all dancing. But like that rhythm, I don't know what it is about the song. So good, Tim. Probably my favorite song on the entire soundtrack, I might actually say.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say the Denice Williams song is my favorite. The problem I have with the Footloose song is I've played it in cover bands, and it's a little bit overplayed for me to some extent. And then when they remade this film, they got some country artist to redo Footloose, and it sort of spoiled it.
Blake Shelton redid it, and it was okay, but it wasn't great. It was not Kenny Loggins, for sure.
No, Kenny Loggins doesn't care because he was getting paid either way, so it's like, yeah, whatever. Absolutely. Blake who, doesn't matter. Send the checks in.
When I was in high school choir, I've talked about I was in show choir. We would pick different things, and different medleys. Of course, we did the Footloose medley at least twice. So some of this is like at this point, like I performed that for almost a year that I'm with Tim. Like I could not hear it again. But I will say what I appreciate about the Footloose, like I said, that lyric is like one of my favorite lyrics I've ever heard on my entire life. I think it's very well written and gets to the point. But I also think it does a good job of explaining the movie. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it really does a good job explaining people need to have an outlet. They need music. Maybe you're not into dancing, Tim, but in this town they literally banned music. Like, anyway, so with that being said, the next song is one that is, so there's a scene where the mom and the dad kind of have this very romantic, and the mom makes a joke, we're dancing. And he's like, huh, we are. And which is kind of funny, but kind of not, because they were going back and forth about like allowing people to dance in the town. And anyway, with that being said, it's Almost Paradise. That song. It's Almost Paradise. So for those who don't know, it is by Mike Reno, who's the lead singer of Loverboy, and then you got Ann Wilson. But it was written by Eric Carmen, which is also the one from Dirty Dancing. If you guys didn't know, he wrote a lot of music for Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, he wrote Hungry Eyes.
He did. And of course, the duet became one of the most romantic songs of the 1980s. Though I will say, it's not my favorite, Tim. I do like this song, but what I like about it is I like how dramatic it, almost like prom night-ish it feels, which works for what they're going for in the movie.
Yeah, it's a song very much of the era. The other thing is that Mike Reno went on to become the frontman for Loverboy. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, I said, yeah, no, I did. I said the frontman for Loverboy, which is weird. And then what's funny, though, is when I was like looking up this, Tim, I have my little notes here, and you know how now when you Google things, you get AI for everything? Mm-hmm. Do you know what AI said about this song?
What's that?
The song says love can fix things, at least for 4 minutes. I don't know why, but I thought that was kind of funny. Thank you, AI bot.
I mean, you couldn't have anything more sickly love ballad from the 80s than this. This is like
every wedding
should
playlist.
Be in every film like that was made in 1984.
I'll be honest with you, I could live the rest of my life without ever hearing the song again. And it was the end to when we did our Footloose show, it was like, that Almost Paradise. Like it just, I could never hear it again, Tim. I really could. Tim laughed at me singing that right there. It's just, we're knocking on heaven's door. Like it's almost like grind. It's one of those, like you were talking about Footloose at this point, grind your gears. This song grinds my gears. And it was also just like the dad in the movie, like, oh, we're dancing, but it's okay for us because why? You're literally stopping everybody. Anyway, I'll get off my high horse. I'm not going to live in a Footloose town where they take away dancing, Tim. I refuse. Anyway, now the next one is one everybody knows, but I will say I have a very different thought process about it now because I live in a different world, but it's Holding Out for a Hero, of course.
I mean, classic Bonnie Tyler. I mean, this is montage music. This song was built for montages.
Now, what's funny though is, do you know what I might need to send this to Tim after we leave this episode because he does not know this, but in Shrek, at the end, the fairy godmother does a whole scene where she's singing Holding Out for a Hero. And that's all I can see now. It's the fairy godmother from Shrek singing Holding Out for a Hero.
Yeah, as I said, I've never seen Shrek, but I've been to the Shrek 4D experience at Universal Studios Hollywood. And that is the only experience I have with anything to do with Shrek.
No, yes. If you see it, it's literally exactly what you think. I have to send it to Tim now because you're going to laugh. And no, the fairy godmother does a great job at it, but it's very intense, like you're saying, montagey, like Holding Out for a Hero. Now, it was written by Jen Steinman, who, for those who don't know, also wrote music for
Meatloaf.
There it is, Tim knew. you know. And I mean, think about the most theatrical, dramatic person in the world.
Yeah, because you could hear Meatloaf singing this song. He would do it. Maybe he's even covered this song.
He probably has. I've never looked for it, but I would think he probably has. Tim, give it a go. Tell us if he has.
Let's have a look. Meatloaf Holding Out for a Hero.
I love how I said it. I knew Tim was going to know. I was like, he's very famously wrote music for
Meatloaf. No, but Adam Lambert has done it. And I don't want to hear that.
I mean, it's not that dissimilar to Bat Out of Hell or like Dashboard by the Paradise Light. Wow. Dashboard by the Paradise Light, Tim. Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Did you catch what I just said?
No, because I accidentally clicked Adam Lambert doing Holding Out for a Hero. And I'd rather I didn't see that.
Tim, I said, instead of saying Dashboard by the Paradise Light. Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Yeah, I said it backwards and started laughing at myself anyway. For those who know, you know what I was trying to go for there, which is one of my favorite. Oh, I love that song though, and I love singing it. But anyway, poor Tim's scarred from hearing Adam Lambert sing "Holding Up for a Hero." It's what I just saw.
Yeah, I'm not. Regardless of his connection with the Brian May karaoke band, I'm not about him. I got nothing against him. It's just not for me.
Theatrical way. Well, anyway. So with that being said, the interesting thing about Holding Up for a Hero is it did succeed. It did have like very good success in America, mostly the United States of America. Let me restate that. I understand America as a continent, but United States of America. But apparently it did better in the UK, Tim. Holding Up for a Hero was apparently more popular in the UK.
Yeah, I remember it being huge when it came out.
Now, this song is a song I have never sought out. But when I think of it, I only think of the Footloose movie because it's the only reference point I have. And I know the exact moment. And it was such a good theatrical choice because the I'm free, heaven helps a man is obviously where I'm going for, is used very like in the movie. They're free now, Tim. Like, I'm free. And that's all I think of when I think of this song. Don't know anything else about it. Couldn't tell you.
I mean, again, it's another Kenny Loggins song. And in a way, it's almost like the Footloose song. The fact it has that beat running through it, it almost sounds Footloose-ish.
Well, it was written by Kevin Loggins and Dean Pitchford wrote most of the song, which is a co-writer on almost all of this, right? Because he's the mastermind behind Footloose. And this was a song he also wrote with Kenny Loggins, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and again, it's another song where if you played this to someone and you said, what era did this come from? And they go, that would be the golden decade of the 80s.
It really is. But like I said, I have no other, I mean, I've heard it 1,000 times because I've heard this movie, blah, blah, blah. But all I can think in my brain is, I'm free. And that's all I remember. I don't have any other reference point for this song. That sounds stupid, but what's interesting about all of these songs we're talking about, Tim, though, is they're all very much songs that build. Like they have a very kind of like a sound to them, like that really jettisons, and that's what the movie does, right, Tim? It's a very building movie. Like even the scene where, so for those who don't know, Ren McCormick, the main character, Kevin Bacon, right? Kevin Bacon. Mm-hmm. He was a gymnast and a dancer at his old school, and so when he comes, there's a scene where he's doing like kind of like gymnasty things and he's like hanging off of bars and he's just frustrated because he can't get his music out, whatever. And like everything in the movie is very dramatic and builds. Mm-hmm. And so the music really matches that. Now, I will say, this is so dumb. There is an American Dad, which is basically Family Guy, right? It's written by the same people, Family Guy. There's an American Dad episode where the alien, who actually does look like Kevin Bacon, if you've never seen Roger, he looks almost identical to Kevin Bacon, and that's the joke. He looks like Kevin Bacon without a nose. So he dresses up as Kevin Bacon, and he does the scene where he's doing all the dramatic gymnast stuff that he does. And he said, and I don't know why. I've talked about this. The Ted episode, when we talk about Ted the movie, when he was like, why did you trust me? I'm on drugs. And I laughed so hard, and I don't know why I laughed that hard. This is another moment where I laughed so hard. He was pretending to be Kevin Bacon. It was a Footloose episode of American Dad. He goes, you better get out of here before I kick my Sunday shoes. And if you don't know, like, you know, when somebody in Footloose, you got to kick off my Sunday shoes. And like, it was like, I don't have to finish that sentence. You can figure out where it goes, Tim. But in that moment, anyway. That's what I think of a lot, too, when I think of Footloose. That episode is so funny. Before I kick my Sunday shoes up. It's just, anyway. All right. Moving to the next song. That's another thing when I think of Footloose. All right. And this is one that I've been waiting. Tim's probably been waiting for this song. He probably wants to talk about it. It's an artist Tim does really actually like. It's The Girl Gets Around.
Yeah, Sammy Hagar. Now, interesting facts about this song. It is not on Spotify. It's grayed out. It's only available on YouTube. Now, I have a copy of this song from the Essential Red collection, which is like the first big compilation he put out early 2000s. I think he had other compilations, but he put a sort of a big compilation out in the early 2000s. This, together with a Van Halen compilation, was one of the very first things I ever bought in the United States. My very first trip in August 2004 to New York City, I went into the Virgin Megastore in Times Square. I bought Van Halen's Best of Both Worlds compilation 2 CD, and then I bought a copy of Sammy Hagar's The Essential Red collection. And this song is on that album. Now, in the great CD sell-off of the it was about 2009, 2000, whenever that was, around that kind of era, when I bought a Les Paul and it snapped my back in half. Yeah. I sold that CD. But since I've been back into collecting my CDs, I found the exact same copy that I used to have because the jewel case was made out of red plastic. And I found the exact one I used to have. So I now warmly welcome it back to my permanent collection. And I have a copy of that song, The Girl Gets Around.
Well, as soon as I was doing this episode, I said, Tim will be happy to know. What's interesting, though, is it is by Sammy Hagar, but still Dean Pitchford was the one who wrote all the lyrics to it. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's unusual because the Red Rocker normally writes all his own music, certainly his own lyrics. So I'd imagine this is probably one of these things where they wanted Sammy to do it, and the song was written, and they went in the studio and
that's absolutely what it was. Yeah, when I was reading it. So basically what happened was, the original movie was kind of put into works in 1979, and Dean Pitchford wrote almost all these songs, Tim, earlier than that. Like, he had what he wanted this to be from the get-go, including these songs, and then he would kind of reaching out to artists to make it happen. So a lot of them are like labeled as co-writers, and I think that maybe in this case Sammy Hagar he's written as a co-writer, but it was more for like the guitar parts that he added, right, Tim? It wasn't the lyrics. What I've got is Dean Pitchford had all of these lyrics read it, because what it was he pitched this movie in 1979. He had the movie, the script, the music, like he knew what he wanted it to be. And it kind of got kicked to this. It's one of those things that people didn't know that it was going to be as popular as it was. And for whatever reason, it was kind of kicked to the side. What did they call it? I need to find the word. Hang on. I'm going to look this up. There's a term for it when a movie kind of gets kicked to the side like that. Hold on. You guys are hearing me.
I think they put it in development.
Yeah, but there was a term. Hold on. I've never heard this before. Made a pay or play deal.
Okay.
Apparently, pay or play is a guarantee or an informal contract in a term for a contract of an actor, director, or other participant that guarantees to pay if the participant, basically, he was going to pay out of pocket if it wasn't popular, Tim.
Yeah.
Never heard that term before. Didn't know. But he wanted this to happen so bad. They also said they put it in turnaround, which I didn't know what that meant either, as a use of outside assistance to resolve problems from preventing the film to get to projection. So basically, he put it out to Paramount. Paramount said, nah, we don't like it. He put it in, turn around, work through whatever the issues they were having, and agreed to pay or play if it didn't make money. And of course, it was absolutely huge. It made way more money than it ever was expected to be, and he didn't end up having to do it. So, also, I thought it was funny that before Kevin Bacon got the role, Tim, Tom Cruise and Rob Lowe were the two artists or the two actors they originally put. And I can't ever see anybody besides Kevin Bacon playing in this movie now.
Yeah, it's funny when you hear that about people who almost got the part. Now, the fact that like Don Johnson was considered and auditioned for Knight Rider. Could you imagine Don Johnson as Michael Knight?
No, not at all.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
That. But that just goes to show you that whoever was supposed to be is who got it. Like, I'm sorry, but I could not see Tom Cruise doing. And it's funny because now we all know like the 9 walls of Kevin Bacon, and everybody's Kevin Bacon's been in thousands of movies, right? But at that time, he wasn't that popular.
Well, let's see Tom Cruise's Bacon number. Are you aware of Bacon numbers?
Yes. How he's connected to him? Yeah.
Tom Cruise's Bacon number is number 1. They both starred in a film called The Few Good Men, so he's a one.
Oh, they were in that movie together. I forgot about that. Kevin Bacon is one of those people that I like as an actor, but he really did embody what you needed in this movie. So anyway, I can't imagine Tom Cruise or Rob Lowe being in the movie. What's Rob Lowe's Bacon number?
I don't know. Let's have a look. Rob Lowe. Bacon number of 2.
Interesting. Well, they were almost in.
It says Footloose. Rob Lowe was in St. Elmo's Fire with Demi Moore, and Demi Moore was in A Few Good Men.
Good old St. Elmo's Fire, which I keep thinking is about something it's not, and we've talked about it ad nauseum on this podcast now. Though me and Tim still never remember what it's about. So I'm going to skip ahead just because we have a limited time and we kind of had we had a long intro, but I can't do this episode without talking about a very certain song. This is my go-to. I'm having a day. I just want to listen to really good rock music in my ears. Tim knows what it is. It's Bang Your Head, Mental Health.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this song,
I love it.
This only appears on the expanded edition soundtrack.
Yep.
The standard issue soundtrack for Footloose has 9 tracks. The Bang Your Head Mental Health song is only on the expanded edition. And in fact, the version that's up on Spotify, the standard compilation album, doesn't have it. But there are fan-made playlists that have it. But if you buy the 2 CD expanded blah, 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 it has Bang Your Head Mental Health on it.
And to be fair, there's a few songs we've talked about, I think, that are only the expanded. I just assumed Tim had the expanded because he's Tim, and I was correct. Now, what's funny about this, though, is so for those who don't know the movie that well, in it, at one point, he gets a Volkswagen Beetle, and it's all beat up Volkswagen Beetle, and he has to go through and customize it himself, right? And the brakes don't work. He literally has to pull a little thing to make the brakes work. It's just kind of like a thing that bleeds throughout the movie, like him working on this Volkswagen Beetle. It's very, very iconic. At the end, when he takes Ariel out to prom, the door doesn't work, and he has to pull her out the window, but they make it very not the way it would go in real life, because if you actually pulled a girl out the window, you'd probably drop her, and you know what I mean, Tim? It was very
exactly.
I would break a hip or something before she goes to prom. But anyway, I don't suggest doing what you see in the movies. But at one point in time, when he's putting his little Volkswagen together, he's test driving it, right? And he's playing Bang Your Head. And very loud. It's 16-year-old listen to his music very loud. He gets pulled over, he gets a ticket, and that was the first time he experienced that they don't let you listen to music in this little town, his little quiet riot and playing it at the top of his, very heightened. And so one of the things, though, that I was pointing out is, we were talking about Dean Pitchford was the one who wrote. Of course, he didn't write this song, Tim. So I think that's why it's on the extended. It was just a song they chose to play in that moment because it's got that very beat happening, very metal. Yeah. And so it was him and the cop pulls him over in this small little Texas town and he's listening to Quiet Riot. And of course, you get the rest. So it's very funny to me that this song isn't known to be one of the main songs because for me, I thought that was a really important moment in the movie. But it also just could be because I just really like this song too.
Well, you just like it. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I love Quiet Riot. I don't know if other people love Quiet Riot, but I love Quiet Riot. And I will say I'm a sucker for Come On Feel the Noise, as annoying as it is. The Young, the Wild, Slick Back Cadillac. I love it all, Tim. I do. Does that surprise you? I don't know if that surprises you. It probably doesn't, actually.
Yeah, you just like what you like.
Anyway, so that is one of my favorite things. So I'm going to leave it with probably have time. What do you think for 2 more songs, Tim?
Yeah, just about.
All right. So let's see which ones I want to do. I mean, this is also in the extended, but it is a great song. It's Hurt So Good, John Mellencamp.
Yeah. This is a song I've played in many covers bands over the years. This was a Whiskey River song. I played it in some other bands as well. And Mellencamp, classic 80s artist. He was Johnny Cougar. He was John Cougar Mellencamp. He was just Mellencamp. He's had several names, but I think he was just John Mellencamp when he did Hurt So Good.
And what's funny about this is I can't actually remember I'm trying to think of where this plays in the movie. It has to be just background noise at some point when they're like in an event or something, Tim. Because I'm trying to think of when this song play. I mean, obviously I know the song, but I can't think of when it plays in the movie. And I know I can't ask you because you don't know. But I can't actually remember when this song plays in the movie. I think when I was doing my research, every other song, I'm like, oh, I remember that. I can pinpoint when this plays in the movie. But I have no clue when John Mellencamp plays in this movie. Can't tell you, guys. Sorry if you come for me for that. Good song. Don't really know. I still never figured out when he's John Mellencamp and when he's John Cougar Mellencamp. Like, what's the lore there? Do you know, Tim?
I just pulled it up. When he first came out, he tried to be John Mellencamp, and they said that you should change his name to Johnny Cougar because Mellencamp was a hard name to market. And then as a result of that, he decided to drop Johnny Cougar and just be John Cougar Mellencamp. And then when he got famous and people knew where he was, he just changed his name to John Mellencamp.
I think John Mellencamp was better than Cougar. I mean, to be honest with you, though, Tim, if we're going to talk about John Mellencamp songs I can never hear, you know what I'm going to go with, right? Jack and Diane.
Probably, yeah.
How many times have you played it in bands? Have you played it in bands?
I have played it in bands, yeah. It's been a long time, but yes, I have played it in bands.
I think I could go my entire life with never hearing that song again. It was good. The intro is really fun. And Jessica Simpson in the early 2000s, she did get permission, but she did a cover of that and like used the Jack and Diane intro for a song. So when I hear it, I think it's the Jessica Simpson song. And then I get disappointed because it's not because, well, I'm kind of tired of hearing Jack and Diane. All right. I'll give you one more song from Footloose, and then we will leave it alone. Let's go with... I don't want to do that one. It's not my favorite. We'll go with Somebody's Eyes. Are you familiar with this song, Tim?
Yeah, so Carla Bonoff is someone I'd not really heard of until I started thrifting records. And she's somebody who appears in thrift shop record bins routinely.
I will say I don't know much about her besides her being on like kind of things like Footloose. And this song does play though. Like if you put on 99.1, which is like a local radio station that does 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even Tim knows Q99 in our area, you could definitely hear this song playing on the radio right now.
I could see that. And she looks a little bit like Bonnie Barstow from Knight Rider.
I would know that, but okay. I have no idea. She did do a cover of Home, or she did the original. I think Bonnie Raitt did a cover of Home, something like that. I know that happened with her. And then there was the Tell Me Why by Wynetta and Judd. But other than that, I really don't know much about her, but it was a good song. Heck, she probably made enough money from this soundtrack. She probably didn't need to do anything else.
Well, she still gets 130,000 listens a month on the Spotify. When Will I Be Loved is her number one song on there with 11 million listens.
That is the song I know very well.
And Somebody's Eyes from Footloose has 3.8 million streams as of today.
There you go. So, with that being said, I love this movie. If you've not watched it, I highly suggest at least go watch some of the footage and maybe watch Let's Hear It for the Boy and see if Tim was correct on his thoughts on what that scene was about. With that being said, Tim, what else would you like to leave the people with?
I like to say, I hope all the icebergs outside my house and everyone else's houses on the roads melt soon, because even though it was heavy snow the weekend, there's been ice storms and all this stuff, we still have massive icebergs everywhere, and I hope they do melt soon. And in addition to that, please be kind to everyone that you meet.
Well, Tim, you might get your wish, because apparently it's supposed to be close to 60 degrees American Freedom Units tomorrow.
There we are. Well, we will see what happens.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.